And I guess we're live from Keeler Gardens. So we don't have a cameraman today, so this might not turn out nearly as great as it has in the past, and it will probably be a little shorter. But I want to make sure that we come to you consistently as many days of the week as we can from Keeler Gardens to keep you connected with nature. And as we've said before, during this beginning introductory time of our live videos, we give everyone a chance to get their little notifications that Keeler Gardens is live, and you can get those notifications too also if you follow Keeler Gardens, like Keeler Gardens, and turn your notifications on for Keeler Gardens. So when we do these live videos and all this wonderful information is being imparted to you, you will get to connect with nature with us through these videos. Lots of opportunities to connect with nature here at Keeler Gardens on the northwest side of Chicago. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about personal connections. Generally, our programs have been limited to these lovely videos. I'm giving you a little tour of the garden here because I'm the cameraman today along with being the star of the show. But one of the ways we connect with the community is we offer programs for volunteers. Now, again, we have mentioned that our programming has been basically through these videos, and most of our programming has been put on hold. But we do have a couple of very loyal, dedicated volunteers in our community, along with some very excited gardeners who are working with us, collecting plants from us, sharing plants with us, taking pots off our hands to build container gardens and such. So in this video, we're going to talk about is what it means to volunteer with Keeler Gardens. Now, of course, there are some mandates and restrictions and procedures that we will follow. But aside from that, here are some of the things that volunteers help us with. This entire pollinator habitat was installed by interns and volunteers. We didn't have any what's the word I'm looking for? We didn't have any professional help from the perspective of no one was paid to do this work. This work was all done through interns that were we collaborated with After School Matters, and all volunteers. And the first group of volunteers that helped us with this actually volunteered. Hey, Sue. Helped us volunteer on one of the hottest days of the year in the early summer of 2018. So with that said, this space needs regular care. I don't know if you can tell that it's very lush. This actually is overgrown. So with that said, we need volunteers to help discern what's a weed and what's not a weed. How do we split and divide? How do we share some of this excess? That's one thing we might be doing. Another thing that volunteers get to benefit from is they get to learn about design and identification. So as we're going along, let me show you, for example, so see this milkweed? This is a milkweed, this one right here. That is a common milkweed. And you can see all the holes in here. All those holes are from caterpillars gobbling up the wonderful food. I don't know if we'll be able to find any for you. But if we don't find a caterpillar on this particular milkweed, you notice that it's actually out of place because they have runners. So we need to dig that out, and then we will share it with the community as long as there aren't any caterpillars on it. So that's something that a volunteer might be helping us with. Learning about what a plant is, what the plant does for the habitat. In this case, the milkweed is the identification. It is food for the caterpillars, so we want to make sure we're not taking away their food. And then helping us decide, how are we going to remove it? What tools are we going to use? Are we going to be able to give it away? Once we pull it out, how will we pot it up? These are all processes that are second nature to us here at Keeler Gardens, but educational for volunteers. So for this particular one, we would probably have to use what's called a perennial shovel or a trenching shovel. It's deeper than a spade and narrower, so we can really get underneath and get those roots out. One other thing that volunteers benefit from here at Keeler Gardens is they're introduced to new tools. So I don't know if anyone's ever seen or heard of a ratcheted pruner. If you notice, this guy has these levels, and what that allows you to do is grab on to a very thick stem, and it automatically ratchets out so that you can have better torque and better control with, you know, a normal size hand or my size hand. You don't need to, you know, stretch your hand out or use two hands or use a clomper. And this is a tool that not everyone is familiar with. And there's different versions of this. There's a version of it that's slightly different shaped blade, and it has what's called a scoring mechanism. It's really cool. Something that we would love to show volunteers if we can ever obtain that particular tool. We would learn the difference between this, which is an anvil pruner, and a bypass pruner. Bypass pruner has a curved blade, which makes it easier to cut. This is a wonderful tool that was donated to us. We'll probably feature these guys. It's Cobra Head. We'll probably feature them in a future Feature Friday day. But this guy is perfect for digging out weeds and runners that are closer to the surface. It just gets everything up. I don't know if you can see how deep it goes. So there are tools that new gardeners or even seasoned gardeners might not be familiar with, and they get to experience that. So volunteering is about sharing your time here at Keeler Gardens, helping us out, doing what you can for a pollinator habitat, for pollinators, for the environment. But also, you get to learn. You get to fresh air, and you get to enjoy the space and learn the names of plants and when they bloom. And if you volunteer at different times, you get to see the evolution of a space, how this space went from a spring bulb garden to this wonderful, lush pollinator habitat. So thanks, Dr. Cafaro, for it's also great to see you here too. I'm trying to do the comments at the same time as I'm doing the video. So when you're thinking of volunteering, hopefully with us, but anywhere, know that you give your time and your energy. But the community also gets a lot back from what you do. And you learn and you experience and you get to see new things and meet new people. And it has a value that you might not have really realized for both sides. I can't express how much we value volunteers who are willing to participate with us. And there are so many of our volunteers who are so grateful for the opportunity to learn and experience and share. So please don't hesitate if you're interested in volunteering. Even if you're interested in just coming by just to learn something. It's what we call a shadow day. You just shadow us. We work, we tell you what we're doing and why, and you learn. And you might then decide you want to come back and help us do more of it, or you might want to use those techniques in your own garden. So thanks so much for being interested in what we're doing here at Keeler Gardens. Thanks so much for watching this sort of random tour as I chat. At this point, I say my name is Gina at keelergardens.org, so you can communicate with me if you want to volunteer, if you want to come by and visit. Ed for educational programming, nature play, he'll help you with that. He's Ed at keelergardens.org. Our website's still under construction, keelergardens.com. And we often, again, I get so lost when I'm both the cameraman and the actress. So we like to offer our guests who stick around with us what's called hashtag stick around. You get something a little special and a little extra. So I'm going to show you something different that I don't know if you've seen before, and it's an interesting piece of information along with a really cool visual. So obviously, not obviously, but I'm assuming most people know what a tulip is. That spring bloom that we used to draw as kids with the stem and the two very specific looking leaves. So this here is a tulip. These here are tulip seed pods. The tulip has passed its flowering stage. Pollination happened, and now there are seeds growing in here. So you have two options with the seed pods for tulips, and I'm tripping over the garden here. You can let those seed pods go. You can let those tulips put a lot of energy into the seed in the hopes that that seed will then, that pod will crack open and those seeds will fall and you will have new tulips. But let me warn you, if you didn't know this already, tulips are what's called a bulb, almost like an onion. So that seed falls to the ground, and it takes a really long time for that seed to turn into a bulb. And then it takes a while for that bulb to turn into a flower. So that whole process can take 3 to 6 years, maybe less, maybe more, depending on the plant. So I'm not really recommending you seed your tulips and wait for it, but it's not something that we get to see very often. And if you did have seeds and you wanted your tulips, you wanted to encourage them to return, what I would recommend is you just snipping this off. Leave the leaves until they're faded like this. So leave those leaves. Once they're faded like that, you can cut the whole stem down. But I probably should have cut this pod down sooner so that all of the energy could have gone into the bulb to rebuild it for next year's blooms. So I can give you an idea. That's a relatively new pod. That's like a medium seed pod. This one's on its way to being done. I don't know if you can tell. Focus on that. And then down here is one that's finished practically. It's all, see how it just came right off? It just plucked right off, and it's drier, not as full, not as green. And I'm going to see if I can't, I don't know if the shading is out here is not appropriate. I see very cool. Yes, and I had no idea either until I started experiencing this also. So I'm going to put the phone down, and I'm going to see if I can't rip this open. Hold on. You're gonna see my hands and some funny images while I rip this guy open. Actually, you're looking at concrete right now, guys. Sorry, while I rip this open. Okay, now we're back to spirea. So let's look inside here, and you can see, can you see inside there? Those are the seeds hanging around inside there. There's different compartments. This, you can see that big yellow part. That's like a compartment wall right there. And then all the seeds are inside. So again, it takes a lot of energy for this guy to make all these seeds. I'm going to put the phone down again. You're going to be looking at concrete again. Sorry. I'm going to try to rip this open more so we can see the seeds. It takes a lot of energy for these guys to make all these seeds. So we want to maybe consider giving that energy back to the bulb. God, can you see? I don't know if this is dry enough. See, they're lined up all along in there. Those are all the seeds right there. I'm not sure you guys are going to be able to see this. I'm sorry. But this was supposed to be our cool stick around. I'm so enthralled myself. This was supposed to be our cool stick around, hashtag stick around so you get to learn something new. So thank you for being interested. Say hi, Hunter. Say hi. Hunter? Okay, she said hi. So that was our hashtag stick around. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to end our video with a beautiful view of this plant, which is called Penstemon digitalis. Once again, I'm Gina at KeelerGardens.org. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this video, share our message. The more people who know, the more we can share, the more pollinator habitats and the more gardens we can create everywhere. Thanks again so much, and we will be seeing you soon. I think I answered all the comments. Yeah, and I think we're good. All right, take care, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow for Feature Friday. Bye-bye.